Didi Kinkawala from CBS. A lot to get to, but we're going to leave it there because we got to talk about the Cavaliers, guys.
Good.
Last night, the Cavaliers lose to the Brooklyn Nets, who are playing great basketball. They've won 9 in a row. The Cavs had been 16-2 before this weekend at home. They've dropped 2 straight at home to the Nets, or first to the Raptors, and now to the Nets. The biggest concern for me, guys, in these 2 games, and it's 2 games, you don't want to get carried away, is this is a team that has been led by its defense this year, especially at home. And their defense in these 2 games has been awful.
Yeah, it's been pretty bad.
Yeah.
I'm not making excuses, but I really heard myself say this last night. I'm like, oh my gosh, we missed Dean Wade. And I really said that out loud, and I meant it too. But I was like, we actually could have used him, and I think that we needed that hustle out there, and somebody else just wasn't stepping up, unfortunately. But I do think that those are 2 good teams. They won 5 in a row before that.
Yeah.
I'm not dismissing those losses by any means. But I'm also having a bit of a hard time getting worked up about it. Are you concerned at all based on what you saw?
I'm not. No, I think it's an ebb and flow of the season.
And also, Kyrie just played out of his mind.
And so did
he
Darius
played
Garland.
with a chip on his shoulder. While we booed him, he played with a chip on his shoulder because we booed him too. As part of his, I think that's part of his psychosis. I think he's like, all right, turn on superpowers because I am being booed. So obviously, I now have to become an absolutely amazing player.
Let me ask you.
And I think that happened last night.
What percentage of the boos is the way he left Cleveland versus
all of it?
The things that he's been.
It's all of it the way he left Cleveland. If he had left here under different circumstances and hadn't kind of left him hanging and just left it an off year, and then he said all the stuff about how the moon's made of cheese and stuff like that, nobody would have cared because he got us that. Because of that shot, he got us that ring. He just still deserves credit for that. Man. But I don't think anybody. No, we would just be like, that was our lunatic for a while. He helped us win. That's how we'd be.
G, your thoughts?
Listen, you disagree?
You can't win at the highest level of any competitive sports liking people. When you get on that court, you got to play like you want them gone from existence. I don't want to see you win. I don't want to see you get buckets. If you fall down, so what?
Not helping
Maybe
you
might be hurt.
Yeah.
Until you get that level of it's all about competition at the highest levels. The difference between Hall of Famers and winners are, my coach said, you either got to play at a speed or a force that either somebody else can't play with or they don't have the heart or the will to play at that level. And there's a lot of people that are good people, nice people, but they don't have the heart and will to win at the highest levels. There's a reason why Michael Jordan plays, and they have some of the greatest 50 players who never sniffed a ring. Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, John Stockton, Patrick Ewing. You wasn't going to win. You know why he cared that much? And I see games like this. In Brooklyn, Brooklyn is a great team. But they always count on something. They always count on guys like Kevin Love laughing up and joking it up when you see Kyrie Irving. As a general on that team, you as a veteran have to set the tone and say, if they look and see Kevin Love being like, don't give a damn about Kyrie Irving, how many shots he hit, he about to lose tonight. And no, I don't want to shake your hand. That didn't tell Evan Mobley, oh, this is what type of time we on. That's what tells Jared Allen, oh, if Kev Love ain't chopping it up, that means we need to come to play. And there's a couple of things that happened during this game. Remember when Jared Allen had the ball and Ben Simmons was tied up and he just grabbed the ball and threw him down? That's Ben Simmons. He's soft as Charmin. Ben Simmons is soft. He got, but
he is quite soft.
Don't say nothing about his mental wherewithal. I don't care about your mental capacity. I don't care if you ever get it back. That's how you got to play when you competing. And we just talked about the Browns not having that. When you got a bunch of nice guys, that's cool. You can be likable. But the last generation of Cavs was likable, and they won nothing. So either you got to decide out here whether you going to be all in on this is how we going to play the game, or you never going to beat nobody like that.
I think it's a great point.
I think it is,
I don't
too.
like this Kevin Love patty cake with Kyrie Irving. I don't need this.
I don't either.
Yeah. At the end of the game, fine.
That's cool.
When it's
but
over.
before all this chopping it up.
And he's the veteran on this team, and it sets a tone.
You know what you did say, though? First of all, Kevin Love's going to be what Kevin Love is. He has never been that guy who would go up and say, like, that guy's dead to me. Has he ever?
But by the way, don't tell the fans not to boo. If the fans want to boo, they
sure, that's up to them.
Yeah.
But I do, what you said also is true, completely true, but also gives me hope because I do believe that they did not have that kind of mentality, not even the capacity to have that kind of mentality last year.
Yes.
Because of the nature of the guys who are leading this team. I think they do have this year because I do believe that Donovan Mitchell has that dog in him. And
yes,
I think
I
he
do. Yes.
can be that guy
He's
at
in
the
a
end of
little
the
bit of
game.
a slump right now.
Yes.
The last 2 games he's played poorly.
But that doesn't.
It's
that's
a
not
blip
the
on the
only-
radar.
Exactly. But
we know.
I love. You're right. You have to have that to get through the playoffs.
Yeah.
You have to have that to in the fourth quarter in the most important games. And last year, those guys, bless their hearts, all the talent in the world, way too nice. And this guy can lead them with his meanness too, and say, "No, we're mean right now."
These guys get like the Cavs' big guys. Like Jared Allen's an animal. He's a great player, but Allen and Mobley need a little nastiness.
Because Kevin Durant, you watch Kevin Durant during that game. He's yelling at his teammates. You keep going over the screen. You got to go under.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like he's talking to him. He fouled out of that game, went to the bench and was like, yeah, I fouled out because you wasn't rotating over there.
Right.
You didn't do it. And you know what? Kyrie Irving, you say what you want. The dude's an assassin. He's in another world. You know, he said, oh, KD went out. Kyrie's like, I'll pull up from half court. You can't stop me. I'm going to go over here. I'll dribble around the whole team.
I mean, those guys are champions. They've won. They know how it's done. The Cavs don't have any players besides Kevin Love who have done it, and he wasn't acting like a champion.
And he was not.
But you're right. Post game, be as kind as you want.
I don't give
It was
a
in the
crap
post game that Kevin Love was asked and immediately said that Kyrie's number should be retired as soon as possible.
Fine. Like nobody cares about that right now. We know his number's going to be retired at some point, and that's fine. I don't have any problem with Kyrie's number getting retired.
Right.
But like, I don't care about that now, and don't like. Kevin Love, we love you now, and maybe some of the fans agree with him, but, like, if the fans want to boo, that's their right. Like, fan behavior can be out of control sometimes. People can,
See, he was
but
upset.
I don't care if they're booing.
He upset if they booed who, Kyrie?
Yeah.
Bro, come on, bro.
Like, shut up.
Come on, listen.
I didn't see that comment.
Listen, bro. If that's your boy, that's your man, that's on you. But when you first start chucking it up with him, laughing it up, and then you go say, don't boo him, my reaction is I'm going to you as if I'm the star of the team, that's why LeBron always had to get you tightened up.
Right.
That's why he was always cryptic, tighten you up, Kev.
Yeah.
Because you want to be liked.
But the right response for him, though, in that case, is to say, look, I personally wouldn't boo the guy. He did this for the city. He won this championship. But I am never somebody who's going to tell a fan how to behave or how to respond to something. It's up to the fans.
And the Cavs fan base has been so great. They've been such a spark for the players to play well at home. They've had so much energy. Like, don't try to dissipate that at all.
That's y'all advantage. You think, and I always get mad because he's doing something going out of his way that nobody else on another team would do. Like Kevin Durant or Kyrie ain't mentioned in Cleveland.
No.
The people in Boston don't give a crap about what we do here.
In fact, Kyrie dissed Cleveland when he left. He said it's not a good sports city.
One more thing about this whole, like, the entire Kyrie situation that I'm watching, or he comes to the city, he gets booed, whatever, that happens. But I know that he's eventually going to get his jersey retired here, and he deservedly so. But think about this. The reason that I wasn't as bothered by that last night, that win, was, and they are Brooklyn's on a tear. You know that's not going to last. He can't sustain without health or I'm not going to say without doing something controversial or making some stand. It just feels temporary.
I mean, listen, this is the best of what the Nets can be.
Yes.
And if Durant and Kyrie are healthy and focused in the playoffs, they can beat anybody.
Anybody.
But there's a decent chance that won't happen for one reason or another.
Look what happens with Kyrie, though. He gets that championship. That's fantastic. Then he pouts after the next year, leaves.
Yeah.
Then, though, he goes to Boston, and
it was a mess there.
It was a mess.
Yeah.
And then they get better when he leaves. Like, think about that. They got better when he left.
This is really, to this point, is the first season that's gone really well for him.
Yes.
Outside of the off-the-court stuff, since he's left Cleveland.
And even there, you had to say, outside of the fact that he refused to play for, or whatever, for a period of time.
Or
whatever. And then because
And made
so even in
anti-Semitic
this
remarks.
year, this
Yeah.
agreed which has been his best season since leaving.
Yeah.
We still have to say, except for that time where other than the fact that he didn't play when he could have for this long period of time.
Yeah.
So it's what I'm saying is there's always a downside with Kyrie, and
is.
it usually catches up with you, and I think it'll catch up with them too. And that's
Hopefully.
why I'm not as freaked out by them as some of the other people in this conference.
I think the Cavs are a nice team. The Cavs have a lot of potential, but the Cavs for the last 2 games against contending teams with pedigree, they got bullied. They got bullied
that's
against
correct.
Toronto.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons you guys are not getting the calls that you get. You know why? You guys have a path of least resistance type thing. There's sometimes, and after they did what Darius Garland did, what Gary Trent Jr. did the first game of the year, that should have been on site. Like, when you play in them games like that, you're supposed to lock in and say, this is how we got to play, because these guys are kind of going to try to use their name recognition and play physical to get us out of our game, but they got another thing coming. And my thing is the team can get to a point, but they only going to get there if Evan Mobley starts to become dominant. And what I mean, the first 2 touches of the game, you know that Garland can get it. You know that Mitchell can get it in the fourth quarter. We need Evan Mobley to be a guy that's aggressive in the first quarter. And then we establish that. We can get that on the other hand.
Yeah.
Because if you can establish him early, and JB got to do this, as a young player, it increases your confidence. Now you unlock him on defense. If you notice the games where he doesn't get the ball early, he's in foul trouble.
Yeah, and I'll say, you look at, he's been in more foul. Last year, I think he averaged, he's averaging about 1 more personal foul per game this year, even though he's playing the same amount of minutes. And I think people are so scared to criticize Mobley, and I'm not being overly critical.
No.
Because he's got a ton of talent. There's nothing I don't really like about him, but it's fair to say he hasn't taken, to this point, as much of a leap from year 1 to year 2 as we expected.
Correct.
That doesn't mean we don't like him or don't like his future.
Doesn't have the upside.
Right, of
Yeah.
course. But and remember, Darius Garland's big jump was until year 3.
Yeah, I think
and
it's
that
just
may
a time,
happen.
and I think you're right. I think it's a matter of a timetable. We were selfishly hoping that because of what he had shown us in his first year, that he'd continue on that path.
Right,
and
he's
it's going to be a little more.
Yeah, it's a little slower
slope.
And I'd like to see him get to the line, as you say. I mean, like, he's taking 2.5 free throws per game.
That's awful.
I mean,
yeah, that's awful.
He's got to get to the line more than that. It'll happen. Now, everybody's offense was gonna come down a little bit. You added Donovan Mitchell. I mean, he's a star player. But I think
I'm encouraged because guess what? They are seeing what it looks like when you ain't sneaking up on nobody.
Yeah.
They know what it looked like when because Brooklyn came out, they gave them all. I said, dang, KD coming out here aggressive.
Yeah.
They didn't let him get off the mat, because they know what the Cavs are. They know how the Cavs, they're in the 4th slot. They're going to be competing for that 4th slot. And so Boston, you got Toronto. You still got the Sixers. Milwaukee, of course. All these
Knicks
teams
are playing pretty well.
Playing good. They're going to have an uphill battle. But the cool thing about it is if they work on their game and learn how to work through it in the season and playing hard consistently, figuring out a way to get Mobley the ball, they'll get better because they're younger and they're going to play that same way. But they just got to be consistent in their effort.